40 yards.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Two Dudes Drinking Beer. My name is Josh.
And my name is Alec.
We were just talking about golf.
And all the delusions I have and how off my shit is.
Okay,
Hi.
we can't be perfect. It's no... Give me the butthole. Oh, I forgot about those.
Oh, fuck
Give me
yeah. Shout out to Plant Daddy.
1 second. Today is November
A man who knows what he
15th.
wants.
It is the week before Thanksgiving.
You guys got plans for Thanksgiving? Drop it in the chat.
We're just doing stuff here.
Dude, he was not ready for this
I wasn't, because
butthole.
I was trying to dissect the joke that you wanted to tell me that you forgot, so we were breaking that down.
Uh-oh, Ghost Hand, what happened? You can't physically pee?
Oh, hell yeah, brother. Go
What
hard. Today's 2DBFFOTD, the fun fact of the day, the meaning of the butthole,
The butthole.
is that the weight of a cow can vary by 75 pounds in one day.
What? That's actually pretty crazy.
You heard me. The weight of a cow can vary up to 75 pounds in one day.
So just wake up,
Just be a
75 pounds lighter.
cow. Potentially.
What are you drinking today? I don't know how to pronounce this. Oh, it's nice and cold though.
Liliko'i Kepolo.
Liliko'i Kepolo.
It's a Belgian-style white ale with a tiki man on it, so it's kind of Hawaiian and kind of Belgian.
Yeah, I almost got another fucking stout today on accident. Not a stout. It was another amber.
It's
But
an English ale,
yeah, it was whatever. I think English only has brown ale.
like Newcastle.
Yeah. Which I still think I would try on draft if I ever found it. Or
It smells fruity.
yeah, I thought you'd like this one because it's all like
Well, what I don't...
passion fruit and
The thing I don't like that it says is and spices.
spices.
Yeah, I don't like the spices. I don't like spiced rum.
I saw tropical juicy tart. I don't think IPA's spices and spiced rum spices are the same spices. Slice.
We can look into that.
Sure, we have computers right here.
Couldn't force myself to pee for most of yesterday, and today things are normal now. Doctor had no idea why. Silver linings, I did a full checkup. Prostate and kidneys are okay. That's good.
Oh man, good to hear that. Yeah,
Got a clean bill of health. That's good.
yeah. Maybe it's stress. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Obviously, you don't listen to me, but I know
We
that
are not qualified.
I know that when I get stressed out, like I always feel like I want to poop, but I can't. Probably shed a little too much there.
Well, let's try this beer. Tastes like
Very, very tart.
a smoothie.
Very tart. With a strong wheat finish. Well, it's got a good aftertaste. I like the aftertaste is actually really sweet. But it's like super weedy, and then it washes with like a fruity kind of taste. All right, here's another sip for Plant Daddy. Another one. Man, how's Sasha? By the way, I saw the cutest fucking boxer, and I need answers on this. There was a boxer dog, and I was like, this looks so much like a pit bull. And my dumb ass was like, is this a pit bull, to the owner? And he's like, no, but they're like related to pit bulls. And like they're like a healthier breed. Like they're like a healthier kind of section.
Boxers are dumb.
I mean, he was a good dog, but
Sure.
I was like, wow, they look like just skinnier pit bulls. And he's like, yeah, they're basically the same thing except for, there's that sip. He's like, they're basically the same thing except for like they're healthier because the way bulldogs are bred.
Well, they when I say
Or pit bulls are bred.
when I say they're dumb, I mean they look dumb. I like boxers. They just look stupid.
Oh, they're cute as hell.
Here's a comparison.
But are they from the same family at all? Like,
They're
you know what I'm saying?
taller. They weigh more. Their temperament's way different.
What's the temperament? Oh, see, even it says bulldogs are affectionate, energetic, and loyal. Temperament for boxers, dude. Pit bulls are great, loving dogs. How do they get the aggressive stereotype?
That's how they were bred for like the past like 20-ish plus more years.
I mean, there are like Hulk dogs that are bred to like just they're trained to like just be big and like kill pigs. Those are crazy. Have you seen those? I'm pretty sure we watched that video, right? Where like a gang of pit bulls just kills a wild boar.
This is the pity. This is the boxer.
Yeah. I mean, pit bulls are still my favorite dog, but I was curious if they're like from the same family. Like, I was like, there's an American pit bull, and then another kind of a red-nosed pit bull, and then like boxers off to the side. And they're like, I was told it's technically a pit bull.
They were developed in Germany in the 19th century.
They were developed German engineering at its finest.
Initially as bull baiting dogs and later as butchers' helpers controlling cattle in slaughterhouses.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Damn. There aren't many pit bulls that are actually American pit bull terriers. They're bred so differently. Yeah. I mean, that's what got me fucked up is because I don't know shit about like dogs and like some dog people, at least the few dog people I've been running into recently. I'm like, oh, what kind of dog is this? And they're like, oh, it's a Japanese Shih Tzu, Poodle, Pomeranian, Koala Bear mix. And I'm like, what? I didn't even know that was a thing. And some people are like super into like the genotype and phenotype of their species of dog. Like they know fucking everything. That's the dog I want. An American Staffordshire Terrier.
But it's not a pit bull.
It looks like a pit bull.
But it's not.
Really?
Yeah.
I just want like that face looks like pit bull to me. Not like the singer, but like classic pit bull. I'm pretty sure that's just another name for the pit bull, right? We talked about that. Beer dudes, what up? Bingle Dairies, I love it.
Yeah. So this is a pit bull, and then here's a Staffordshire Terrier.
I mean, they're fucking. I mean that. I guess the pit bull is a little cuter to me. Look how happy that boy is. But yeah, I mean they look so similar to me. Those have got to be basically the same, right?
It's nearly the same breed as the American Pit Bull Terrier.
But the boxer's not at all in this category then. But these dogs are similar.
The main difference is in appearance. Mm-hmm. That's just what it is.
What'd you brew, man?
Oh, little brewery hopping? He didn't brew anything. He went to breweries.
Oh, for sure. What breweries did you hit then? I thought you were saying you started brewing your own beer, and I was like, dope, we just did that. So if yours turned out better than ours, which I'm sure it did.
These look more like Mastiffs.
Mm-hmm. That's like a rich-ass pose. Like, that's a rich-ass pit bull. Like, that's the dog. That dog has got fucking family money, you know? He's
old
like...
money?
Yeah, that pit bull is old money.
Urban Artifact Mad Tree and Rheingeist.
Nice. I'm going to look those up. What's your favorite beer? Bingle Dairies. I fucking love your name, dude. It rolls off the tongue, and it's so much classier than Dingleberries. So, shout out to you.
First of all, there's no breed called a pit bull. However, there is a breed called the American Pit Bull Terrier.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The Staffordshire Terrier, I was told that is the scientific name for pit bulls.
What about the American Pit Bull Terrier?
I don't know. Different,
which is this guy.
Different subgenre, I guess. I don't know.
Subgenre of dog.
Mm-hmm.
New dog just dropped.
the American pit bulls bark and the other ones bark in key. Oh,
we're drinking a sour today.
Is it a sour?
It was in the sour section.
Really? All right.
It's too fruity to be a regular beer.
I don't think it's very sour. I think it's really tart, and it's got
that's literally like
sweet
the same
finish.
thing.
I don't think it is. They have different words for it.
God, now I gotta go over here.
You can fact check all you want. I'm still trying to Google this brewery. I can't fucking keep up with the chat.
Tart is sharp to the taste, acid, sour, while sour is having acidic, sharp, or tangy taste. So
say that 5 times fast. Say it slowly so it makes sense. Is that tart is... What the fuck?
As adjectives, the difference between tart and sour is that tart is sharp to the taste, acid... okay, so it's semicolon acid, semicolon sour, while sour is having an acidic, comma, sharp, or tangy taste.
So it's literally the Bingle Dairies of words. They're like, it's not sharp and tart, it's tart and sharp. You fucking presumptuous ass hat. Ass fat. But I love sour and tart too. Let's check out the Urban Artifact. I've never heard of that one.
So they're all in Cincy, and I assume that means Cincinnati.
Cincinnati? Yeah, fuck yeah.
Ohio.
Oh, dude, that place is sick. It's like a fucking church. Check that out.
Made by monks again?
That's fucking funny. We've drank a few beers from monks recently. And we're seeing a bunch of beers made by monks. Dude, that is awesome. It's a club in a church and a brewery. I'm in.
Can't
Dude.
recommend it enough. Well, if we ever head out that way, we'll be sure to check it out.
If I ever go to Cincinnati, this is my first stop for sure.
You know, be world, well, not world travelers, at least in the U.S.
We have to go to Brazil first, I feel
Inland.
like, but... Okay, so there's that one. That place looks cool as shit.
Mad Tree.
Thank you.
You scrolled way too much.
Like I said, I can't keep up with the chat.
We are in Southern California.
Yeah, we've hit basically all of our local breweries.
Quite a ways away
Yeah.
from Cincinnati.
Are you over 21? Yes. Oh, come on in. Dude, they got some oh shit. They got some cool ass cans.
Spent a week in LA back in
pump
August.
can.
Yeah, LA is all right. It's nice if you're just visiting. It's not nice to actually stay there forever.
It's kind of a shithole. It's super. Any city I think is like super played out. Like people who live in LA, they love LA, but if you live around LA, you're like, this is not that fucking cool. LA kind of sucks. It's just a busy ass place with a bunch of
Assholes.
murder and drugs.
Assholes. People
Assholes.
in LA are shitty.
Yeah. Like I met someone recently who was like, yeah, I live in LA. I live in a really expensive house. And he starts complaining about like how there's a homeless guy sleeping in his driveway. And I was like, dude, I don't care who you think you are. Like if your house is $5 million and the hobo sleep in your driveway, you're not living the dream. Like fuck you and everything you think you stand for. You're not cool because
His
you live in
house
LA.
probably only has 2 bedrooms.
No, for sure. And it's like a 4.3. This snob was like breaking it down for me. I was like, that's cool, bro. I never asked, but like, thanks for letting me know. And he's like, yeah, but there's a serious homeless problem. And I was like, you should probably find someone to talk to. Like,
So do something about it.
yeah, I don't know.
Golden Road is a great brewery.
Golden Road is great. One of my favorites.
They have good shit.
Yeah.
It's been a whole week since we've been here.
I know, dude. We didn't do a show on Wednesday.
Yeah, we're going to the weekly format now.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to just because of life. I do have work again Wednesday. And I'm sure you got school and stuff, right? So we're going to be doing the show every Monday.
Same time, same place.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
But moving forward, we're going to be a weekly show now
Yeah.
instead of a bi-weekly.
But it works out because I was...
Ideally, we have more to talk about.
yeah, I definitely
And
do.
we can do longer shows.
Yeah, I don't mind doing an extra hour or something. So, I definitely have stuff jotted down in my notes. And I've been watching some really crazy movies. I wanted to say I saw a movie last night called Synchronic. And it sounds like a stupid-ass name.
It's not synchronic.
I mean, I'm sure you could pronounce it like that, but I'm pretty sure everyone in the movie says synchronic because it's named after a drug.
So they're pulling like the chronic.
Yeah, it's like a chronic kind of thing. But
I saw some movies too this weekend. I saw 1.5 movies.
1.5. What movies?
I saw half of Venom. Not
You
bad.
saw Ven.
Well, I saw the part.
Oh, you saw the ending? That sucks, dude.
It was not bad. And then I saw We Are the Millers because I was home alone, and so I was just sitting on the couch watching
Oh, We Are
TV.
the Millers is a good one. That's the fake family RV trip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
running drugs.
Yeah.
So I was just downstairs. I don't want to be up here. It was hot as fuck.
This room is super. Well, we have the fridge and everything.
Nah, it's just the windows.
Really?
Yeah.
It's all blacked out.
Then the curtain absorbs all the heat,
Yeah, it just kind of
and it's just
generates
there.
it. Yeah, I feel you.
So I was downstairs and I was just watching TV, flipping through channels. I saw Venom and I was like, shit, I got nothing to do. I'll watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. Didn't get to see the beginning, so I don't know like
Yeah.
how he got the symbiote.
Came from space.
I know that. And then Venom was supposed to go back and then bring them all here and then destroy the Earth. But he didn't. He was like, I like you, Eddie. And then we're friends.
Okay.
That's what happened.
Is it really?
That's what he said. Yeah.
Could you imagine?
That's literally what Venom said.
Imagine going verbatim.
Well, not exactly.
I like you, Eddie. We're friends.
That's basically
Give
what
me
he
a
said.
beer, Eddie.
That's
Let's go eat that Chinese woman at the liquor store.
Basically what he said.
Got a Brooklyn accent out of nowhere. One thing I'm surprised about is like how much shit there is on Netflix and Hulu and everything, and there's no like button to watch trailers. I just want to watch trailers to like get interested in the movie.
Well, usually if you hover over it, it'll play like clips.
Really?
If it's a very popular thing.
Oh, it was. I'm into like some sci-fi shit right now. So I watched it was a sci-fi thriller.
I mean, you could always Google it and look at the trailer. Put in that extra
But
effort.
no, sure. But I'm saying like, wouldn't it just be super convenient if you were like,
Hello. Password will expire soon.
oh, okay, it does.
For my school email. Why are you letting me know that? I don't care. I fucking hate that so much. Like every fucking semester you log into like your my VCCCCCD and it's like you need to change your password and it's like I don't want to.
Yeah. Oh, like this? Oh shit.
Yeah.
I had no idea that's how it happened.
I mean, it's not like the actual trailer, but it just like shows you a little bit.
For sure. I'd still think I'd want a little. I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter. It's a great movie though. I highly recommend it.
I might watch Arcane. It was at the very homepage. That's the League of Legends show.
Arcane?
Scroll up.
Oh, right here.
It's also, if you scroll up, it's the big ass banner.
Oh, dope. Very steampunk.
A show about League of Legends champions.
I mean,
I don't even play the game, but I know about it because I watch the esport. But
I guess it makes sense, right? Like, they're just trying to stay
and then they're making One Piece.
in the eye. Yeah. What do you think of that?
It's gonna be a disappointment.
You think so?
I hope not, but it will be.
Will it be worse than Titans?
No, Titans is a good show. You're just a hater because you've
I
watched.
watched 3 seasons of it before deciding I don't want to watch it anymore. I'm not a hater. I really, really tried. I tried. I mean, how am I a hater?
You're a hardcore fan. I'll put it that way. I'll take back my hater comment and I'll say you're a hardcore fan of DC. You're very much into the lore. You're very much into that community. As he's wearing Batman socks.
You want to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle?
I gotta click in the window.
All right, I'll just hold it here.
Control 3.
Everyone can see Batman socks, though. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Oh, I didn't change it.
It don't matter.
It did change, but I didn't adjust the zooms.
I got Batman socks.
So
That's
many continuity errors.
Shut up, DJ.
Titans is good. You guys are...
Oh, I thought you were talking about us. Oh,
No.
I was like, just because we can't get one camera angle for my socks, we have continuity errors? No. You're right. I am sorry. Absolutely agree.
And I'll say, as a casual watcher who doesn't give a shit about the comics or any of the backstory, I enjoy the show.
And I thought of that too, maybe because I know all the backstory.
That's what I'm saying.
Can I get one too?
Because you're the hardcore, you're into the lore, it's going to bother you a lot more than someone who knows nothing about it.
Yeah, because this is kind of your first time being like, oh shit, like
I mean, like I saw like maybe a quarter of the entirety of Teen Titans on when it would just fucking come on TV when I was a kid.
the animated one.
But I never like seen it all the way through.
The animated one is honestly so good.
I know you love it.
It's so good. But
It's like your favorite thing ever.
it's not my favorite thing ever. I mean,
You
I
always
really like
you
blowjobs.
Always talk about it.
Big fan of blowjobs. I don't ever.
You never talk about blowjobs, but you always talk about Teen
It's
Titans.
true. I guess I watch more Teen Titans than I get blowjobs.
Sad.
Damn.
Fucking loser.
Fucking loser. I was also thinking about that too. Like,
Blowjobs?
no, like Family Guy. I've been watching Family Guy, and there was
Family blowjobs?
Family blowjobs. Never mind. Quagmire, right? He's like a pervert, and I remember watching TV shows like How I Met Your Mother. You see Barney Stinson. He's like a womanizer, right? He just hooks up every
He's
night.
a piece of shit, yeah.
Has a huge body count. I used to think that was like real, right?
It can be.
Sure, it can. In some rare cases, it probably is. But there was a comic like last night or a night or two ago who pointed out like people watch porn and watch TV and they think it's real. And I'm like, holy shit! I don't know. I don't know why it took someone on stage telling jokes to be like, you dumbass, that's not real. To me, be like, oh, yeah, that sounds totally legit. You're right.
You mean they don't actually love each other? They're not married?
You mean they don't cuddle afterwards? That's crazy. But yeah, like, and I realized I was like, yo, like, that's kind of like the joke. Is like, it's like, oh, it's like Quagmire's like always having sex because everyone knows like a friend who's like a little pervert or like a
horn dog.
Like a horn dog, yeah. Like, it's just like, I don't know. It was like a weird like waking up moment for me to be like, yo, like, oh shit, like, yeah, like, you don't have to like get like bodies every night to like be happy.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
It's okay if you can't get any, you fucking loser.
It's okay if you're a fucking limp dick.
That's not okay. You should get that checked out.
Limp dick?
But, yeah. If you can't get it up, that might be an issue.
I mean,
you might have ED.
It's never been for me. It's like if you rolled up a garden hose.
It's like those fucking birthday whistles.
That's bad. Because then you'd probably like fart and you'd be like, you sneeze. Sorry. Just there's a party in my pants.
And you're not invited.
It's a one-man show.
Unless you say yes, because consent is sexy.
You hear about the Barstool Sports guy getting allegations of rape?
No. Which Barstool Sports? Like the main guy?
The main guy, yeah. I figure we'll talk about that. He got accused of raping someone, of a few people, being too aggressive. It got
Dave Portnoy.
Yep. It got published, and then he basically messaged all these girls, and he's like, "Yo, like, what happened?" and they're like, "Oh no, it was consensual." Like, just immediately after, all the girls were just like, "Oh, like, I said it was rough. I didn't know the reporter would be like saying it was too rough," you know, or like
accused of turning sexual experiences violent and humiliating.
Yeah.
The same thing happened to a Dodgers pitcher.
What? How?
So I think his name was Bauer or Bowser or some shit.
Bowser.
Because my dad was talking. We were watching football yesterday, and they were saying the running back for the Vikings has an allegation too that his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend said that he beat me. And then he was saying that I guess the Dodgers pitcher was consensually having sex with this woman, and she was like, "I like it rough." And so
during the sex,
yeah,
and then he got rough.
So he roughed her, and then they did it again. She was like rougher, and so he was like, "Okay," and then like beat the shit out of her, and then she claimed like, "Oh, he beat the shit out of me," and I was like. They asked him, like, did you do this? He was like, yeah, I did it. She fucking told me to.
What the fuck?
And then he had, like, all these messages to prove it or something.
That's so crazy. That's the thing, too, is, like...
just be crazy.
A lot of the girls were, like, the night after, they're like, oh, thanks, I had a good time. And he showed those messages, and they're like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, who gets raped and goes, like, oh, I had a good time? Like...
Nobody.
No one. That's the video he posted, the main one being like, it was always consensual, and then he like talks about having the messages. But like, it's crazy to be like, I mean, I think he's suing the reporter because that's the one who fucked with like the context of it, made it a hit piece is what they're claiming. But yeah, it's like he just showed all those messages on like Instagram or whatever, and he's like, we don't have to do anything if you don't want to. And they're like, oh, it's cool, I like it rough, or like, you could push my limits or whatever. And I was like, what? And then like they like talk the next day about hooking up again, and they're like, yeah, I liked it. And it's like that message alone is like pretty substantial, you know? to have someone be like, yeah, it was good. And then like,
Especially if you ask for it. Like, oh,
yeah,
do this or
especially when
do
it's in
more.
writing being like, I like it rough. And then, you know,
Do this, do more.
yeah, it wasn't like,
Do it again.
it wasn't like be less rough. It was like, it's okay. I liked it. Can we do it again next week? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So
One girl claimed she was hospitalized for depression and suicidal ideation 3 nights after the incident.
which, I mean, have you ever, I mean, like, not
She
to like,
declined to pursue charges.
yeah, not to like, you know, put anyone on the spot, but like,
No.
I've never gone to a hospital and seen someone just in a bed who needs a hug for depression and suicidal thoughts. Like, they send you to a mental ward. They send you to get professional help. You don't get hospitalized for depression. You don't get hospitalized for suicidal thoughts unless it's a mental ward.
I would consider that hospitalization.
Really?
A mental hospital.
I guess that's true, but I feel like that should be more clearly said, right? Like, it's, I don't know. A lot of it seems shorthanded to where like they're taking shortcuts on giving you the details for the hot goss.
Can I chime in on the last? Sure.
Yeah, go for it. You want to hop on Discord? We do have a Discord, Bengal Dairies, if you'd like. Also follow us on Instagram, social media. I think Josh is also running TikTok and everything. Josh runs the entire thing.
Change a setting.
I'm just here to talk and
real
drink.
quick.
What's up, boys?
Hello,
Hey, how's it going, bro?
Hey, what's up? What's up? Holy shit, I gotta turn you down.
Oh, sorry.
All right, so I actually had just stepped away, but I came back and heard something about depression and being hospitalized. Can you just go back to what you were saying on that real quick?
Yeah, so what I was saying was I've never like gone to a hospital, like in a waiting room and seen someone like who just like looks sad, right? And been like, oh, they're here for depression. And then I was like, they should be sent to like a mental hospital or something. And Josh pointed out that's still a hospital.
In regards to a woman having a sexual encounter, an alleged rough sexual encounter that she didn't want, going to a hospital because she was depressed after the fact.
But after
Okay.
also showing messages showing that she enjoyed the sexual experience.
Okay. So what I will say is, yes, people do, in fact, check themselves into hospitals, not mental hospitals, but hospitals themselves, for depression. I will say there is a direct upscale when you look at personal admissions versus someone who has like a mental breakdown at work or at home, and the ambulance gets called because they have suicidal thoughts and their family's worried. It's definitely more so that, absolutely. But all hospitals, and I mean, I'd venture to say most, if not all hospitals, do have some kind of mental health ward. So it may not be like what you think, where it's like a psychiatric hospital specifically, but most hospitals do, and I think it's a requirement now that most hospitals actually do have some kind of ward that is dedicated to mental health, which, mind you, isn't just depression or suicidal. It's also schizophrenia, bipolarity. It's got all that stuff, which ties into which is weird to think, but a lot of that stuff actually ties into each other. When you have bipolarity disorder, you're 10 times more likely to also have depression. Or if you're schizophrenic as well, you are a percentage more likely to have more severe depression than the average depression which everybody faces, such as like seasonal depression, which I think it's like some astronomical number, like 90% of all people, or 90% of Americans at the very least, have some sort of seasonal depression, which we all know is just that sadness of the sun is barely up. We're in the dark for most of the next coming months, and it actually it does change the physiology of our brains during this time. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it doesn't have to absolutely be like a mental hospital, because generally mental hospitals are used primarily for the people that cannot be treated in regular hospitals. If you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Like if the scope of practice goes beyond what can be provided at a normal hospital, that's when they go to the wards. It's the people that are schizophrenic, bipolar, have severe depression, suicidal tendencies, or suicidal thoughts that need monitoring, where a hospital cannot do that. Nor would you want to pay the bill
for that,
for having just for that in a regular hospital.
Yeah.
Because insurance will cover certain things in the hospital and not other things. But insurance also has, once again, a separate insurance has a separate bracket for long-term stays at facilities. Just the same way they have long-term insurance for like PT and shit like that.
Yeah,
I came into the conversation there. That's why I was like, I just wanted to share a little bit more.
No, thank you. Honestly, yeah, I will say my shortcoming for that was when I say like, when I imagine mental health, I imagine like a psychiatric ward, but like we have something out here called Scary Dairy, which is like a abandoned.
The college I currently go to used to be the Camarillo State Hospital, which used to be a mental facility.
Yeah, so when I think of like mental
people in straight jackets.
Yeah, when I think of people, when I think of like psych wards, I think of people like tied up in a padded room 24 hours a day, swallowing pills.
Clinically insane.
Well, when you talk about a psych ward, that is primarily what that is. When when we talk about like mental health facilities, which is basically a crazy people hospital, or you actually talk about a psych. But when you talk about like an actual psych ward, the psych ward is within that mental health facility for psychiatric patients that need the padded rooms.
Gotcha.
They don't do straitjackets anymore, but they do a form of restraint to a certain point. And actually, rather than using straitjackets now, we all know how they straitjacket a person. They just fill them with pills, like you were saying.
Yeah,
that is the new way. It's instead of lobotomizing people, they make their brain function so low just by forcing pills down their throat.
Yeah.
It's the new age of straitjacket. They don't need to physically restrain people anymore, because you don't
internally.
Exactly. When they put a straitjacket on your mind and your mental capacity, it's the same thing.
That's the realest shit I've ever heard.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like, I guess I also kind of assume going to a doctor, you're going for like medicine, like a medical practice at a hospital. I think mental health is, at least my understanding right now, is that it's more therapy. Obviously, there is going to be some form of medication that can be involved if the doctor prescribes it, but I feel like more mental health is about a psychiatrist kind of like walking you through like some sort of deep-seated or deep-rooted issue from your childhood or something, and like kind of coming to the conclusion, or like that. So I just couldn't imagine, like, if you're just going to a hospital for drugs to cure depression or anxiety, there's no real cure for it, at least in my mind. So it's like, it's something more you have to kind of work through rather than just get medicated for.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And when another thing that hospitals offer, if you were, let's say, to say, all right, my name is Alex Smith, and I have been having, thoughts of harm, maybe not suicide, but I've had thoughts of harm. I can admit that I'm depressed. And you go to a hospital and you ask them, what can I do? You also have to remember I think you're referring to, and when you think about a hospital, is you're thinking about the ER specifically, which not all hospitals are just ER. You can walk into a health facility and schedule an appointment or go see a doctor not in the ER, and actually say, okay, and sit down with the doctor, and they can do one of two things. They can outright just write you a prescription for something that you just told them and be like, well, this is going to help with your depression. This is going to help with that.
Ketamine.
You can be that doctor can then say, okay, well, I think what you need is a therapist along with something else to go along with that, which could be the drugs, like I said, but also hospitals. But hospitals have therapists on call most days than not.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, 9 days out of 10, they do have in-staff facility that are psychiatrists, that are not maybe psychologists, but therapists and psychiatrists
there are specialists that they have access to.
yes, that are 100% there to handle that specific situation for people that are going in there. And it's the same people that would be going to the ER for the same kind of thing. If you have suicidal tendencies and you end up in the ER, they will send you a psychiatrist or a therapist straight to your room and to figure out what the next course of action is, along with if you were to just walk into a hospital and ask to speak with a medical health professional. And that's just, something that is just like a reminder to everybody that's watching, is that hospitals are meant to do
The resources are
exactly. The resources are there. They are meant to do exactly that. There should be no fear of, negative recourse for going to a hospital if you're having an issue, whether it be physical or mental. And that's something that unfortunately spawns more so from the U.S.
It's so expensive.
standpoint on healthcare. Yeah, that's the point I wanted to kind of get there.
The system in general.
I think more people are afraid of paying their insurance bill after going to the hospital
how much is a fucking
than they
ambulance
are actually just committing suicide or just living with that monster on their shoulders. They're more afraid of paying that bill than they are of the thing that's slowly killing them.
An ambulance costs $600 in California.
Really? And that's without the sirens. I heard someone get the breakdown. They're like, if we put sirens on, it's going to be $1,200 because they have to break the traffic laws.
It's 100% different, and that is I don't know who told you that, but I'm 99% that's not true.
Private ambulance companies, which a lot of them out here are.
I heard it was more around $1,200.
Yeah.
But
generally speaking, it's $1,200 just for the ride.
And let me say this too. I think you got a good point. People are afraid to just pay their medical bills, and I think a lot of that probably has to do with people's source of depression or anxiety or fear is probably stemming from their income. Maybe they don't make enough. Maybe they're not in a good job making money, and maybe they just don't want to have to get help to keep working at a shitty job that they don't like,
So like everyone
but
35
they've done they've crunched the numbers, they've done the research. I'm pretty sure you are spot on in saying that the number one cause of depression is directly correlated to your income. It is proven. That is an absolute fact. Your debt to income ratio is directly correlated with how happy or unhappy you are.
And let me just say,
when you're in that mindset, it's very easy to allow for everyday stresses, the normal grind of a day, to then be compounded. Yes, to burden you more, to compound you more. When you're worrying about being able to pay your bills, but also eating at the end of the week and and taking care of the family and doing this, which is, everyday stressors. You have a family or you have bills. We're American. We're used to having crazy bills. It's just a fact. It is what it is.
Let's go.
Yeah. But when you start adding on that anxiety, you know what I'm saying? That anxiety's pushing at the back of your head with a fucking fork every week. Like, hey, are you going to make the cut? Are you going to make the cut? Oh, sorry. You missed it by $500. Yeah, sorry, you missed it by $500. Sorry, buddy. Try again next
and now interest on your
month.
Debt.
Exactly. And when you have that weighing on you month after month, year after year, and all you can do is just continue to pay and pay and pay, and you can't dig yourself out, bro. and we wonder where our depression comes from, yeah, it's directly correlated with our income.
That's why
100%.
I'm paying off my student loan now.
You got the number right there if you want to talk about that real quick.
If you were to break your arm and you have no health insurance, the diagnosis and treatment, if it doesn't require surgery, would generally be about $2,500 or more. If surgery
Jesus.
is required, you're looking at $16,000 or more
Oh my God.
just for a broken arm, according to Google.
Ooh, Google. Google.
And then I also have seasonal depression stats about which state has the highest seasonal depression.
Go for it.
It's Oregon at 25.20%.
Yikes, dude. Really?
So 1 in 4 people in Oregon are depressed.
Oh my God. That's so bad.
It's a
Due
it's a
to seasonal
9%
depression, correct?
Yes, it's a 9%
okay.
change.
That's a, I mean, not as big as the one below it.
Right. West Virginia is at 24.6 with a 12% change come the season.
Oh, those numbers
Yeah, now
are
you're-
so
and-
high.
When you look at those states, like look at their seasons, look at their seasonal changes.
I'm honestly surprised Alaska's not higher up. Where's Alaska? I don't even see it.
Well, number 3 is Maine, and they go down 3.8%.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
I'm pretty sure. What? But isn't Alaska? Well,
Alaska's got like 4 days of sun and then 6 months of moon.
They're at 16.9%.
No, it's the opposite.
Is it?
They get like months at a time of like sun where like the
that's
sun
what it
doesn't.
is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They get a whole month when the sun does not set.
There's
Like-
also, I think there's a 4-day period in Alaska or New Zealand where the sun doesn't set for 4 days because of the rotation of the Earth. Nothing? Okay, cool. Never mind. Fuck that.
Alaska's change in depression is 29.5%.
That's a huge increase, though. So it does have a really high seasonal depression stat.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest increase.
Awesome. That's kind of what I intuitively thought.
And the biggest decrease I'm seeing is 18%.
That's the biggest
Where people
decrease?
get in New Mexico,
People get happy?
it goes down by 18%
Oh, my God.
come the season.
And just for a quick little reference, and this is only changed as of recently, and this was something that I was going to bring up just before when you were talking about Alaska. I was going to say I'm pretty sure Alaska has the highest suicide rate of any state, but it was actually surpassed by Wyoming with a 29.6 suicides per 100,000 individuals.
Damn.
You know what was so disturbing,
So
too?
nearly 30 people per 100,000 individuals commit suicide per year.
In Wyoming.
So when you in Wyoming, and it's 28 and a half, so 29 in Alaska. So I was going to say, yeah, you want to talk about seasons and having a month of sun constant and it still being freezing and the weather in general. Yeah, the one most radical state that we have as far as weather is concerned also has the highest rate of suicide, only second to Wyoming, even though Wyoming has just surpassed it. Think about that.
The population of Wyoming is 578,000 people.
So that's a good chunk of the people just offing themselves.
And Alaska's
say it like that.
population, that's 730. A lot of people live in Alaska. 731,000.
Yeah. So when you look at 29 when you look at 29 for every 100,000 in Alaska with a population of X, yeah, that number's real high.
29 times.
And Alaska also has a large suicide and overdose rate.
So
Because what the fuck is there to do in Alaska?
Get eaten by a bear.
Nothing.
So this is something that really kind of shook me is when I looked up like most common ways to die, the top 10 from the World Health Organization, or I'm looking at the medical news today. Number 10, well, suicide always makes top 10, which blows my mind because you basically have cancer, like heart disease, unintentional injuries, which is just accidents like just car crashes, and then pretty other standard stuff: stroke, diabetes, seizures, Alzheimer's.
Yeah, it just goes to regular health there.
It just goes to regular health. But
Yeah.
the one thing that stands out to me the most is suicide, because that doesn't really fit in with those other causes of death, right? Everything else is just old age. Your body can't fight off cancer too well anymore, or you have a drinking problem, or you crash your car, or an accident at work, whatever. But the one thing, and this is what the movie was basically kind of getting into when I was watching it, Synchronic, they're like, we know how it ends, dude. It's gonna be suicide, a car crash, alcoholism, kidney failure. Like, we know how people die, and like we know what is super common, and suicide being number 10 should be a bigger topic of discussion, because deaths in 2017, 47,173 people killed themselves for one reason or another, and that is just below kidney disease. It's 3,000 less than people who've died from kidney disease, which is insane, because those numbers are just...
It's less than 2%.
I mean, I'm just saying, of 2% of the total population, or...
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it's less than 2%. But when you look at 2% of the population, 2% of the population was...
Is it U.S. or world?
And then look at 50% of the population, and they all have depression. So that 2% probably kind of grow. I mean, look, not that we're like trying to split hairs here. I'm just saying, is like, for some reason in my brain, suicide is
Badass.
Suicide's a separate issue from heart disease, car accidents, and...
But is it? But is it though? And I knew one of you guys was gonna say it. Mm-hmm. I knew one of you guys were gonna say it, and I wanted to dig it real quick.
What did he say?
That all that stuff has
different?
to, all that stuff. Does it really have to do with depression?
You can kill yourself if you're not depressed.
But I'm saying your physical health and everything else, where it's like, oh, you got heart disease, or you develop this, or do you develop that? But also, they've proven that having a better mental outlook allows for people to heal faster, right? And so there's also a direct correlation between people with negative ideologies or depression that heal slower, and also does it actually not have, like, do the two not really have anything to do with each other? Because if you have
sounds like it does.
month after month after month, year after year after year, have we really looked at like the thought that maybe depression actually has a greater influence on your physical health, i.e., like developing heart disease or a heart problem?
I think it does.
They did a TED Talk on that,
right?
it absolutely
right. That's
does.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, I saw the TED Talk.
I think it 100% affects your physical when you have chronic depression, and makes your body more susceptible to, injury and
because you're not taking care
sickness
of yourself.
And illness.
Like, you don't want to get out of bed. You're not eating. You're not drinking.
Yeah, totally.
Your immune system gets weaker.
Well, and
because you're not
that's the
taking care
big
of
one,
yourself.
is the immune system. Your brain has a direct line to your immune system. So if you're not right, like mentally, you're 100% going to get more sick than the guy that's over here, picking daisies on a farm and, laughing and having, carrying on actual healthy mental life. And it's been proven scientifically. It's proven that is the truth.
So, I believe this is the TED Talk I'm talking about. I'm just going to throw it in the chat real quick. I remember watching this in high school. And basically, if you guys want to check that out.
How to make stress your friend.
That kind of really opened my mind to, the idea of stress. And the best point here is the study basically just...
As someone's car alarm is going off.
The study is basically just revolved around public record. So they basically interview a bunch of people, and they're like, "Do you feel stress?" And they say yes, and then they say no, and then they check public records for who dies. And it was overwhelming how every study was correlated to people who said they were stressed were more likely found dead within the next year. And it was this. What's that?
I think that can be skewed though because there's a lot of variation to stress.
Sure, but it's like how I was talking about minoxidil killed 2 people while they were testing it, and one of them shot himself, and one of them jumped in front of a car. But they still have to count it as a death. So is my number skewed, or is the way they keep track of the numbers skewed?
The way it's kept track of. Because
there you go.
If I'm stressed about a certain assignment, that's different than I could process that stress differently. Where if someone's job is on the line if they don't perform well.
So then let's boil it down to that. Then if it is still stress management, shouldn't there be more focus on that mental health of stress management or something along those lines?
Absolutely.
So. Yeah, I mean, I agree, but
because stress comes in so many different shapes and colors.
But this TED Talk is what is saying is how to make stress your friend, and that's the idea is that you need to change your mind about stress because we think scientifically looking at all these numbers, we think it can kill you. So unless you learn how to make stress your friend and learn how to, like I said, when I imagine psychiatric help, it's someone talking you through it, helping you come to some sort of revelation of an idea or something to make you accept and move on. Unless that happens, I think, in the mental space, then the problem will always reside. And it's just going to burden or weigh someone down like we talk about with seasonal depression. They'll always be sad, or the stresses will always compound, he said. So I think that's where it needs to be dealt with. It needs to be dealt with and handled and understood before it can be just,
at the source.
Yeah. And I think
but there's a lot of different sources. We can't change them all.
I'm not saying change them all. I'm saying the source isn't the problem.
But that's what causes the stress.
Correct. Okay, so we're getting water from the sink, and the sink is tap water.
Yeah.
Do you use a Brita filter? Do you use a water filter?
I use a pure filter.
You use a pure filter. Why don't you just drink the tap water?
I don't like how it tastes.
Okay. So you've incorporated some sort of tool to help you process the water to increase the satisfaction of your water.
I mean, I can still drink regular tap water.
You can. The same way you can just put up with stress. You can just deal with it. You can just be like, this is how it is. Or you can be taught or be given the tools to make that water better for you.
So you got to pay money
to
get rid of your stress.
Currently, right now in the United States, yes. I'm not saying that's good. I'm saying this is what I think the solution is. The money is the problem for the doctors. I'm not here about the doctors. I'm here about the people. And I'm saying
consumerism is the cure to stress.
No, consumerism is not the cure to stress. Consumerism is part of the problem. Consumerism is at the very least the faucet.
Retail therapy. It works for people.
Okay.
Spending money helps people lessen stress.
I don't know if you're trying to derail me.
I am.
Stop.
Mr. Plant would be so proud of me.
He would. He also kind of just dipped out without saying goodbye. But also, Plant, thank you for being on the show.
He is in class.
I am still here.
You're just being super quiet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just being quiet on that one, making sure. I had to answer a little bit of question there. That was all.
For sure. So let me kind of reestablish this, is that the stress in this metaphor is the water, tap water.
I'm following you 100%.
It's not great. It's just kind of there. You have to deal with it. And you could drink that tap water every single day and you'll be fine. You'll survive.
Yeah.
But if you get a water filter and you have a way to process and clean the thing coming into your life.
So by spending money.
Okay, you're not wrong, but I'm not advocating people just go out and buy therapy. It
works.
I also don't think you could buy the solution. That's what I'm saying. I don't want it to be...
So money can't buy happiness.
No, obviously it can't, because suicide's still top 10. Take suicide
That's number 10 on that list, to be fair.
out of 10.
Hey, look at all these billionaires' wives leaving them.
Yeah, dude.
We're gonna leave and take your money with us.
You think money buys happiness? Bezos and Elon got divorced in the same year.
I'd be pretty fucking happy.
Women that have husbands that could buy them or give them whatever life that they want for the rest of their existence and for the rest of their family lineage existence.
It really shows
They
you.
still decided to be like, nah, fuck this, we're out.
Yeah.
Like,
Bitches be trying.
You have nothing to worry, and that's the thing. Like after a certain threshold, right? Where's the threshold? $1 million a year. If you make $1 million a year, that's the same. You can afford whatever you want to. You'll never miss rent. You'll never miss health insurance payments. You can afford the therapist, but people still wake up one day and go, nah.
yeah, not gonna do this. Yep, not gonna do this.
Not worth it. It's not. They say that. They say literally in their head at some point that has to cross their mind. This is not worth it. All the money in the fucking world, Jeff Bezos has it. And hanging out, fucking Jeff Bezos isn't worth all the money in the world apparently.
He's probably a weirdo.
Probably. But the fact is, I think people always have that idea of, yeah, money would fix all my problems. It's like, yes, it would pay. Yes, it would pay your rent. Yes, it would pay your medical bills. But you can't just go pay a therapist to fix your problem. You can't just go pay someone to fix your car. I mean,
I think you can.
you can't, but
I think the difference is the naivete.
but you have to deal with it in you. It's not everyone else's problem because you paid them. You're paying for a service. You're not paying for the resolve. You're not paying for the solution. You're paying for a service.
So if you're saying that the service, let's say it is therapy, that is a service, that won't help you get through what you're dealing with?
Correct. I could go out and buy a water filter right now. But if I still just pour it from the faucet to the cup and I don't use the tool I've purchased or been given, then it's useless. And I think a lot of people think of it like that. They think...
So therapy's bogus.
No. I think...
So if they pay for it, it's fine.
No, I think he's right.
What are you saying?
I think he's right.
Who's right? Me or Josh?
No, you, Alec. I think you're 100% right. The tool is
You
only
have to
as
use the
good
tool
as the person
properly.
that... Yes.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. There's the naivete.
You have to be
of
willing.
it.
Yeah.
Sure.
The naivety is definitely there. But yeah, Alec, you're 100% right. You can go purchase something or anything, right? You got the money to purchase therapy, or you got the money to purchase your filter.
Yeah,
Josh
But if you
use
don't,
it-
but if you don't use it, and such in the same, if you are not actively trying to help yourself
please.
while also going through therapy, it will do nothing for you.
Josh and I ran out and bought
yeah.
these microphones, everything for this podcast. We still do the podcast.
Yeah, we use them.
If we didn't use these microphones, we wouldn't be... If we didn't do the podcast, we wouldn't be using these microphones. I mean, I would a little bit more than you.
I'd be using them.
But we bought it with the sole purpose of this tool does this thing for this job. And I'm sorry I cut you off, Plant Daddy, because I just had a total brain fart.
You're fine.
I lost where I was going with that.
Services
stopped.
may not result in the desired outcome. Goods, on the other hand, have a guaranteed outcome. That's what Ghost Hand says.
I mean, I don't want to argue that right now, but I think if you bought a meal at McDonald's and you weren't satisfied, I think that meal would be the good, the service would be the employee treatment, and you could be mad that there's pickles on your Big Mac.
Well, the thing that you're supplementing buying food is hunger. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if you're satisfied or not. Are you done? Are you not hungry at the end of that? You
Well,
could
you could
you could
also
not be
true.
hungry.
You can also
and have
just-
a shitty meal.
You can also just dumpster dive and have an even shittier meal and have your appetite fulfilled. You could also let's also throw away the idea of society for a second. You could also go out, kill an animal, eat its fucking flesh, and be full.
Hardcore.
But society's the structure that goes, if you're hungry, you have to pay $3 and
That's still accepted in today's society.
go out and kill a moose right now.
I don't have the-
Go feed your family.
First of all, I don't have the equipment to kill a moose.
You don't have the tools.
No, I don't. I'd have to buy them.
Do you see the dilemma?
People go hunting.
Do you guys
all
see the
time.
circle you're going in? Like,
That's what I'm saying. This is a that's where the system comes in to where it's like, yo, if you wanted to shit, go shit outside. You don't need to shit in a toilet. If you want to go eat, go kill a rabbit and cook it over a bonfire. I don't care. Go live how you need to live and survive how you need to survive. That's fine.
Nah. The government says you still owe us money though.
Yeah,
and big companies say no, we need you.
But
we need your consumerism.
But the government goes, we need you so we could do this, and that, and the other thing. So we're stuck in this. It's the Matrix, bro. You need to watch the fucking Matrix with me.
I'm not going to.
We need to get high and watch the Matrix, and you'll be like, whoa. The problem is choice.
I know. You really want me to watch these movies, but I can't watch movies the same way anymore. Ever since I became a film student.
2 Girls, 1 Cup. Oh,
I love that one. I love that one. That's a fucking timepiece.
I actually really enjoy 2 Girls, 1 Cup. The score is beautiful and the shots are.
It was very visually dynamic.
It is, yeah.
Oh,
it's perfect.
Oh my God. Okay.
But ever since
did it really ruin it?
It did. I can't watch movies the same way. That's why I only like comedies now.
Is it my fault?
Because you become so critical. You've become so critical.
I just critique it all. And then when fucking Raul is like, Citizen Kane's like best movie ever, it's a trigger because it's not. It's so terrible.
Let me say this, man. I felt the exact same way. And I talked to my brother David about this. He's like, how's music going? Because I'm going to school for music, blah, blah, blah. You guys know that. And I'm like, well, it feels like I saw the face behind the curtain.
Yeah, the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. And he's like, so? And I was like, so, like, I really don't enjoy music right now. Because every time I listen to a song, I'm like, this note, that note.
You begin to dissect it.
You start to really hyperfixate and break it down. I haven't been to school for like 2 years. It's been the best thing for me musically since I've been to school for music. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I was super excited to learn these ideas and these concepts, but now it's like I have like the footprint. I've got a very basic understanding of a few small things to where I'm like, oh, okay, like when I see 2 actors in a movie and a TV on in the background, I wonder what that TV in the background is on for. Everything serves a purpose, right? And I like to decode that and try to understand and figure it out. Same thing in music. Why does the singer go, I'm alive? When classically you'd go, I'm alive. You'd go up to symbolize like the rising of life. But this singer chose to go down. Why'd they do that? And you could sit there and you can hyperfixate on it and you can be like, yo, I just want to know this one thing. And if you ask the singer, sometimes the singer will just be like, I just wrote the song like that. I had no intention of that. And that's super important because it's super important to know when to analyze and when to be like, dude, a rose is a rose. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes the door is just blue. Sometimes the door is not a metaphor for anything. It's just they didn't want to repaint the door. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I had to relearn that by forgetting like, oh man, this song makes me feel this, or this movie makes me feel that. Or like, I was just like, yo, does it feel good? Does it sound good? Does it make sense to me? That's what the art is, you know? And I think maybe I have that a little more than you. I know you're a little more critically and analytically minded.
Saying you're better than me?
I'm saying I'm more critically and analytically.
Saying you're better than me.
I'm saying I feel shit more than you, which I know is true.
How dare you? I have emotions.
I have emotions.
I'll just never tell anybody I love them.
There you go.
Because that's gay.
Because with that gay shit.
Bro, I always kiss my homies goodnight.
Always, bro.
That's different.
But do you understand what I'm at least trying to get at?
I haven't been in film school for 5 years and I still can't watch movies the same.
But when you were in film school, you really liked We Are Your Friends. And you really liked
because that's not a serious movie.
Sure. But you also really liked The Greatest Showman.
Not a serious movie.
Why aren't they serious, though?
It's a fucking musical, dude.
So, musicals are serious. I know.
It's not Les Mis. That's a shit musical. That's a shit movie. I'll never watch Les Mis.
So is the tone of the musical...
100%. That's why I really only like comedies now. It's because it doesn't fucking matter.
So you feel
I'll still analyze the shit out of the shots and choices.
So you feel like when someone's being serious, it matters more in a
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
But how can you determine when someone is being serious in a movie? Or
The theme.
with The Greatest Showman?
A dude creating a circus.
Okay. Let me back up.
It's literally the creation of the Barnum and Bailey Circus.
Okay. That movie inspired me in a way that I'm trying to kind of convey right now. He went through all that shit, losing everything, to be like, all his carny friends were like, hey, we still got you
Do it
back.
again.
Let's try again. I'm like, boom, friendship.
Okay.
I know.
You fucking loser.
Look, I know that sounds dumb, but I'm like, yo, that's important.
You're the worst.
Am I wrong though?
Yes, friendship is the theme of literally everything ever. You can boil it down to that.
No,
for
you can't.
Anything. Yeah, you can.
I'll find an example right now. Hang on, give me like a few seconds. The opposite of the friendship theme would be the opposite. The opposite of friendship is just enemies.
Yes. But more likely than not, the enemies become your friend because that's a classic trope.
No, I got this. Hang on. I've seen plenty of movies where the bad guy wins. I just can't think of the names right now.
Okay. Being made aware of what's behind the curtain with music/movie making in technical terms alters forever the way you perceive them. It's like understanding the physics behind reality. And that's why I don't do physics. Precisely.
But it doesn't make you God because you understand physics.
No, but it makes you not want to do it anymore.
I don't want to play this game anymore.
Exactly.
Well, then there's always suicide. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll just go to Oregon. I'll go to Oregon when it's cold.
Damn. Oh, man, that sounds awful.
Or Wyoming if I want to do it right.
Look, I'm trying. You know what sucks is like I'm really trying to be like naive right now and be like, man, it's okay. You can watch movies. But I feel like if you just have your mind made up, I can't change that.
Also, like the Matrix thing has been done so many other times. It's kind of old and outplayed, even though it was like the first.
I disagree. So Ryan told me, I still feel weird about saying people's real names online, but he told me The Matrix was inspired by the movie Akira, and I watched the movie Akira. I was literally thinking about this last night after I watched the Synchronic movie. Sorry, and I was like, yo. Akira had nothing to do. It was not at all related to the Matrix. Like, it was not at all the idea, anything, even in the ballpark. It's guys who ride motorcycles. One of them drives off in the desert and gets swallowed by some goo. That's 100% the plot. I'm sorry. And he becomes a monster. The Matrix is way deeper than that.
In 1988, the Japanese government drops an atomic bomb on Tokyo after ESP experiments on children go awry. In 2019, 31 years after the nuking of the city, Kaneda, a bike gang leader, tries to save his friend, Tetsuo, from a secret government project. He battles anti-government activists, greedy politicians, irresponsible scientists, and a powerful military leader until Tetsuo's supernatural powers suddenly manifest. Final battle is fought in Tokyo Olympiad, exposing the experimental secrets. I mean, based on that, I would say that's pretty close to the Matrix.
Now, just at least Google the Matrix plot.
Neo believes that Morpheus, an elusive figure considered to be the most dangerous man alive, can answer the question, what is the Matrix? Neo is contacted by Trinity, a beautiful stranger who leads him into an underworld where he meets Morpheus. They fight in a brutal battle for their lives against a cadre of viciously intelligent secret agents. It is a truth that could cost Neo something more precious in his life. Based on that, I wouldn't say, but like, based on what people say the Matrix is about, I would agree with the plot of Akira being related to the Matrix, or at least what people say about the Matrix.
Mm-hmm. But can I spoil the ending of Akira? Then
I don't give a fuck.
Here's the thing that makes it different.
Spoiler alert for Akira if you guys give a fuck.
Spoiler alert for Akira. At the end of the movie, he's trying to save his friend. His friend is already dead. That's the end of the movie. He fought the government. He fought everyone. It was no end to the means. There was nothing. He fought for his friend to save him, and it was a symbol.
All for nothing.
All for nothing. So Akira is a great example of when the bad guy wins. It's a good movie when the bad guy wins.
Who's the bad guy in that sense?
Chinese government.
Japanese, but
Japanese government.
Racist.
Sorry. I mean, Chinese government's not that great either, if you want to get into that. But
Japan's a lot better.
That's what I'm saying. So that's a movie. Have you seen Akira?
I've never even heard of it. I thought it was a fucking anime.
It is.
Even then. Cool.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Maybe watch that. Maybe you'll like that.
Nah. I'm okay.
But that's an example of when the bad guy wins, and I'm glad that I just stumbled across that because
I usually tend to not watch things from like 2002
sure
prior.
But that's my exact point is the bad guy wins in that one. The good guy is like, I'm here to save my friend, and they're like, your friend has been gone for so long. All you've done is slow down the machine. You will never stop it. It's like 1984, the book. They win. The guy is like, I love Big Brother. The bad guy wins sometimes.
I never read it.
Spoiler alert for 1984. If you ever want to read that.
I can't read. It's okay.
Sometimes in film and films and literature and art, sometimes the bad guy does win.
100%. Yeah, that happens.
It just so happens.
Do you know why people do it though? Why they make their art that way? Is because they want to. It's a counterculture thing. They want to go against, like, we want to be different.
But it's still good, and I think some people would probably.
It's a trope.
I don't think it's. But then that means everything's a trope. Life's a trope.
Ding 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 ding.
Life's a fucking trope. Life is meaningless.
Sure is.
Okay, so we're full circle. Life is meaningless. So suicide went up a few spots.
Let's go to Wyoming.
Let's go to Wyoming. So suicide went from like 10 to like -1. It should be like the reason you kill yourself. Because if life is meaningless, then it's fucking meaningless for everything and everyone in every aspect. And Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk's wives left them. Money doesn't make you happy.
I don't think you can have negative reasons.
Okay, let's just say number 1 then.
Okay.
Reason 0. Ground 0. You can have ground 0. You can have reason 0. You have patient 0, ground 0, reason 0.
I guess.
Cool, I'll take it.
He'll take an I guess from Josh. Cool.
Now it's a scientific fact.
I wouldn't say scientific fact, but a general fact amongst the populi of this area.
Okay, my point being,
yes.
If all that's true, if life is meaningless, it's a trope, everything's a goddamn fucking whatever it's chalked up to, why don't all governments just fucking suck their own dicks and we all die? Why don't we just all nuke each other and be like, you know what?
It's kind of what we do.
We're the best government. And just like hit the reset button.
It's kind of what we do, just minus the reset.
Because we've had to hit our point as humans, if that's the truth. If the truth is life is meaningless, then we're done. Fucking, why should anyone after us, why should any of our offspring have to relearn what we've already known?
It's because...
Especially if the bad guy won. Life is meaningless. That's Akira.
Ooh.
We got to the end and the government was like, we can't stop the universe.
It's because a little thing called God exists. Well,
God does not exist.
The idea of God exists.
Sure.
And that's what people believe in to hang on.
Sure. But we've already established that the government likes science and not religion. And science dictates...
Our government loves religion.
For votes, not for the...
Still. They still love religion, and they're not getting rid of that shit anytime soon.
You can't get rid of religion. It's a belief. It's like number 1 on the piece of parchment.
Same with racism.
What?
It's a belief.
Yo, that's kind of crazy, right? Like, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, I think God's real, and this group of people should deserve less.
Exactly.
And everyone's...
How have you not thought about this?
Everyone's like, write that down. Write that down.
It's coming from a racist.
I have thought about this. I'm like, yo, if this is true...
And you're just now saying, that makes sense.
I'm saying if it is true, We should just
So you
nuke
haven't thought about it.
We should just nuke the world. Start over.
No, that wouldn't solve anything. The world would be not fucking livable if you nuke it all.
It would be.
You have to
It would
neuralize
heal.
everybody.
It would heal. The world would be better off without human beings. That's a scientific fact, and the government and
sure,
you
yeah.
love science.
I agree with that, yes.
So
But if we were to use nuclear weapons...
No, hang on. There's a YouTube video, bro. Come at me.
It would take a couple million years.
It would take 100 million years, 500 million years.
That's a couple.
But the world would
I
be
can fit that in my hand.
But the world would be better off without us.
Sure, but that would take way too long.
Who cares? Life is meaningless. Who cares how long it takes?
Just
We're
fucking
irrelevant.
Cut the brainstem of everybody. Be much quicker. Much more efficient.
I doubt that. We can't even get people to take fucking a COVID vaccine. What makes you think people are going to line up to be like, yeah, just cut my brainstem. Fuck this shit. It's pointless. Derp.
Do it in their sleep.
Do you know how expensive that would be? This is... Plant Daddy, help me out. This is the fucking circle we're running in again.
The point is saving the environment.
You're back in this. You're back in this circle. Who's gonna kill the people
I'll do it.
that kill the people?
I'll do it.
Exactly.
Once
Those
everybody's
people-
gone.
They go to Wyoming. We have the data. We have the data.
That is the funniest shit you've ever said.
They put them on a bus and they go to Wyoming.
Who kills the people that kills the people? How about we just take them from here and just move them to Wyoming?
I'm trying to look out for the environment.
No, you're not.
The nukes would fuck up the environment.
It would heal the environment.
After 100 million years, I don't got that kind of time. I'm trying to be the fucking Lorax now.
He speaks for the trees.
And I'm
What he
speaking
said.
for the trees, and they'll be better, far better, with nukes, faster. Because you know what? Humans don't like dying. So I would say kill all the humans at once with a button, and then
I don't like flossing my teeth, but I still do it anyway.
then push the button because you don't like this method, but let's do that anyway because fuck what you think.
Nah, I speak for the trees.
No, you don't. You're not this.
I do. Sip.
Did the trees vote for you? I already did, but I'll sip again.
Yes, the trees voted for me.
That's bullshit.
Prove them wrong.
Prove them right.
They wrote it down.
That's how no. On what? Themselves? Oh, Josh! Oh, just cutting into their wrist. Oh, Josh is my fucking president of
Paper
the
comes
fucking
from
trees. Yeah, that's why I'm making a cutting joke.
Poor taste, man. Talking about suicide and self-harm. We're gonna have to.
You're kinda
We're gonna
right.
have to put a fucking trigger warning there.
There should be a trigger warning on all of our shows. This is one that's just going
Not
deep.
all of them.
I think it's going well, but it's going deep.
Not as deep as that cut.
Thank you. Thank you.
You got to go down the road, not across the street. I learned there's a new. Well, not. It might not be new, but it's new to me. A term to call those kind of friends.
What kind of friends?
The ones that have self-harmed in the past. They're called barcode friends.
Oh, because they have slash marks.
Yeah, because it looks like.
I've heard that before.
I saw that the other day for the first time, and I was like, "That's creative." I like that.
I mean, yeah, I heard that back in high school. So
Have you guys
Sorry, I
ever
wasn't
met
as cool as
anybody
you.
that used to self-harm like that and has ever been like normal again since? You know what I'm saying?
What is
like I feel
normal?
like
Yeah,
all the people no, but like I feel like there's like the people that went to that length even back then at such a young age
is there more
have
here?
never
Oh.
developed the same as just people that didn't self-harm.
Where they grow
I
out
know
of
that's
it.
I know that's a very broad term, but I feel like they've always lived with some like they will always live with some of that darkness in them after doing it.
Chemical imbalance is a real thing. Some people will just never be what is normal for the human brain to chemically balance itself, right? Like that's just a fact. So I have seen people come from a dark place and overcome it. Yes. I've also seen people go into a dark place, not with cutting, but with drugs and not overcome it. And I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I think all I can say
I don't think
there,
they do.
Yeah, all I could say there is
You can be better now but it could still always be there.
But that's the thing, right? Like,
I feel like it is though. That's the thing. Like that. I feel like no matter what, like those physical marks play more of a part on people's mental psyche than they care to actually give credit to, and it just never ends for them because they were always gonna have that physical reminder.
That's
you know what I'm
just an
saying?
insecurity.
Each and every day. Yeah. Like, listen, I got scars all over my arms. I look like I just came out of a barbed wired fence, breakout from a jail. But none of those were self-inflicted. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Some of them are. Like, I've cut myself on accident, but I've never intentionally brought pain upon myself in that way. Especially not at the ages when people were doing it, when it was heavy, you know what I'm saying? Like back in middle schools.
When it was cool.
And like early high school. The edgy era, the scene kids that used to, I'm so upset and I'm
peak
just gonna,
of emo.
Exactly. And I feel like that it just doesn't stop for them. I feel like they've gotten better, like you were saying, but like there's always that like little sliver of darkness that you could tell in all of them.
Oh yeah.
well,
Because I've met a lot of people that have self-harmed like that, and I can always tell like there's always that little sliver of darkness that's there.
yeah. So you're right, but for me, I'll speak personally. It's a relationship for me, right? There's always that relationship that hurts more than the others. But you survived it. And I know people who've survived and overcome drug addiction and self-harm. So in my mind, even one person surviving it and overcoming it means that it is possible. And yeah, that sliver is there of darkness, of like, it'll always be a part of me, but I think it comes down to that idea, what I said earlier, of like having the tools. Did they find the tools to deal with those demons, that darkness, that trauma, that whatever it is in the back of their mind shouting at them to make them do horrible things to themselves or others? Like, they found the tools, they learned how to use the tools, they overcame it. No, it's never going to go away because it is a part of you, but it will never define you.
Oh, that's super deep.
That's all I gotta say about that. I've seen some people come from dark places and overcome shit, and
Yep.
they've helped me put in perspective of my life, and I think that's fucking phenomenal. And if one person overcoming something like self-harm or drug abuse can inspire me to do something so simple as process an emotional loss, then they've not only overcome their struggle, but they've helped me and so many others indirectly overcome what we all thought at one point was an insurmountable battle to overcome.
You piece of shit.
I dropped some knowledge and you're like, drink, motherfucker, drink.
Exactly. I'll drink to that. That's what I'm saying. Listen, I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with everything that you just said. And with that, you're basically explaining a support system that was able to give you perspective and allow you to see the world from other points of view, like you were saying. And that is exactly why people should go to therapy.
If you can afford it.
If
Yeah.
you can afford it. Yeah, exactly. No, but I'm saying having that support system, having people there to speak to and actually get perspective from, I think that's exactly what, that therapeutic support system was put in place to do. And I think you are exactly the person that would benefit, but that benefit from a support system like that.
Alec, you need
because
therapy.
because you were willing to listen to those people and heed their warnings about the path you were on and listen to what they had to tell you because they had been there from experience. And I think the people that don't actually listen and are only there because the doctor says they have to go to therapy or their parents are telling them they have to go to therapy. and they go against that grain and don't want to, listen, those are the people that don't benefit. Yeah. So yeah, you're 100%. You are 100% the kind of person to prove to people that these kinds of systems work. A strong family and friend support system does work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's free.
And that's what I'm saying.
And that shit is free. Yes.
But it is like you're saying, and you so eloquently put, is they learn to listen, but they learn to communicate, right? So that's the hard part, I think, is like, I think some people are good at listening, some people are good at communicating, but you have to be pretty good at both. And I've been very fortunate to talk to people who know more than I do about everything, and I've learned a lot from Josh and Ryan and Oscar and
What the fuck have you learned from me?
Raul. Don't worry about it. But
That means nothing.
But I want to tell you on camera. Is there more beer?
Yeah, there's beer in the fridge.
Can I get one more?
What do you want? Do you want our beer, the White Claws, or the last Tripel?
Is there one more of these?
No.
Oh, I'll take a Bud Light, I guess.
That wasn't an option I gave you, but okay.
I break the wall.
to change the subject completely and do a 180, but are you guys planning on talking about the Rittenhouse case? Does that pique your interest as far as like
Is that the shooter?
current events? Yeah, does that pique your interest as far as current events or what?
I don't know too much about the actual, like, I know what he did, and like I read like the timeline of like where he was at like the car dealership posing as like security for that, like a volunteer thing, and then where he went after that. But like I haven't been following the trial enough to give a shit. I mean, it is a super big thing, and it's very important for like
Gun rights.
precedents and whatnot going
Definitely
forward.
for gun rights and self protection.
But like the thing about it is like this kid, 17, his mom dropped him off in basically a war zone. Like
Which is metal as fuck.
where does blame sit? Like, why did you feel the need to go there? I know you were trying to protect things. You shouldn't have had this gun in the first place. You're underage.
You were
it's not yours.
A vigilante, an acting vigilante.
You killed 2 people. Is it self-defense? Depends on evidence and how you look at it. I know the jury is supposed to be deliberating today.
Yeah, they're gonna deliberate into tomorrow, and I mean, I completely agree. He did everything wrong.
Yeah.
100% wrong. He did everything fucking wrong.
He put himself. So, if I may cut you off, I'm going to go into another quick analogy right now. This is one that I use all the time. I had a girlfriend who was always like, "Yo, why don't you go out with your friends as much anymore since you started dating me?" And I was like, "Yo, because like honestly, like I've been running into my ex-girlfriend a lot, and I don't want to put myself in a position where I can even make a bad decision. I don't want to be out there in the world where it's even a possibility for me to like cheat or do something stupid. Like I'm loyal to you. I want to be with you. That's it." And this, I think, applies exactly to him, to where he's like, if you go out with a gun looking for trouble, you're going to find trouble with a gun in your hands. You should not have that mentality in the first place.
Well, his whole idea was he wasn't looking for trouble.
Bullshit. And this is where I say bullshit.
Yeah, agreed.
You can't say I wasn't looking for trouble with a gun in my hands.
That's what he said. I'm not defending him.
But
I think he's 100% in the wrong.
Sure, but I'm saying it's one thing to say that and be like, he's saying all I did was go out with a gun and shoot somebody
To protect a car dealership.
to protect myself. But he went out.
He got hit in the head with the skateboard. Allegedly.
He went out with a gun, which is
His mom dropped him off.
which is arguably provocative.
Sure. Yeah, I agree.
People, if I'm chilling at a Burger King and someone comes in with a gun, I'm gonna be like, what is this dude's agenda?
Well, it depends on what state you're in and what the laws are.
Doesn't matter.
Because if it's an open carry, okay, that's fine.
If we're in an open carry case and you come in with a Burger King with an open gun, I'm like, who are you? Like, why are you in a Burger King with a gun?
I wouldn't be afraid though.
I wouldn't be afraid
Based on laws.
I wouldn't be afraid based on laws, but it's an unignorable fact of what the fuck is happening. Right?
I will feel safer if I am in an open carry state and I see a whole bunch of people getting their Big Macs while having a 9mm on their hip.
Great. So you
It's
both agree
it's just a fact.
if they're in an open carry state.
Yeah, if a state has open carry permits, then yeah.
What state was this
Absolutely.
crime committed in?
Wisconsin.
Is that an open
Yeah.
carry state?
Yes.
Can you look it up just to be sure?
Sure.
Not that I doubt Plaid Daddy. I just want to.
No, it is, and that was the thing. That's why they were out
Before I
there
start talking
open
out my
carrying.
ass.
Yeah, no, that's why they were open carrying. The issue
Yes.
with Rittenhouse
Okay.
was that he was from a different state.
Illinois.
He brought a weapon across state lines illegally. He was there in his entirety.
He was 17.
He was there illegally. He did not have the permit to possess that weapon to begin with. And besides, and that's
Nice.
where this whole argument comes from, is that
I already feel like the argument's closed.
Well, no, because
He came from a state that wasn't open carry.
There's one
so it's
very
not common.
shitty thing about this case, though, is that the judge seems very biased
The judge does seem very biased.
towards Kyle.
The judge does seem very biased. I'll say
She
that.
does, and so here's where I fall. I don't think he should be tried for homicide. Yes, he was in the wrong place, the wrong time, doing the wrong fucking thing, and everything else. But
Do you think he had intent to go out that night to shoot somebody?
no, and I think there is.
He went out with a loaded gun and had no intent to shoot anybody.
No, yes, because that is the point of having open carry laws.
But
When you
he
go
went
out to that Burger King, you go out with a gun with chambers round.
It's for defense purposes.
to defend a Burger King from
For
another
defense-
state.
Well, it's to defend
defense
yourself.
purposes. To defend yourself. But what I'm saying
there's no reason he should be. He was safe at home.
he was safer at. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Is that he was completely in the wrong for everything. Do I think he should
he
be
put
tried
himself
for
in a situation-
homicides? No.
Let him finish.
But he was also. But then after everything was said and done, he was then targeted. And
By 3
he
people.
was he was targeted and he was separated, and then he had to defend himself by himself. Had he stood with the crew or with the group of people that were open carrying and continuing to follow the laws, there would have been no problems. But he was isolated, and then he was attacked. And that is a key point in which a lot of people are either gray areaed about, which the same way we are gray areaed about. I don't think he should be tried for homicide, but I do think that he should be charged for all the other laws that he broke. And do I think that he deserves to ever be able to hold a permit for any kind of weapon going forward in his future of his existence? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But that's simply because of the laws that he broke, getting to the point where he did have to take those shots.
They should also charge him for his terrible
ahead.
performance on the fucking witness stand.
Yes, he should be fired from life due to the
No
fact that he's
Actors
a
Guild coming his way.
No,
was
but
terrible.
that's where I'm at, is that he should be tried for the laws that he broke and not for homicide, simply because of the fact that he did get targeted, he was attacked, and it was in self-defense. But there is always going to be that side of people, like you were saying, Alec, that he put himself out there, he went over state lines, he put himself in the mix with everybody else, with people that were there legally and legally carry. Yes, that's all true. I 100% agree. But defending yourself is defending yourself.
If I may.
Do I think that he should be charged for defending himself? Absolutely not. But do I think he should be 100% charged to the fullest extent of the law for the rules that he broke that the rest of the society needs to abide by, such as having permits for certain weapons, not crossing state lines with, certain weapons or unregistered weapons? Every other law that he broke, he should be charged for. It
was a minor.
But I do not believe he should be charged for protecting himself. And that's the bottom line that I'm on.
I will say I think that's a fair judgment. But if I may, the one thing that I'm still not certain on was the part where he became isolated. My understanding was he shot somebody and then left the group that you are quote unquote speaking of. That's what made him a target between those three people. Was he shot and then he ran?
No, he was hit with a skateboard and knocked down, and then he got up and tried to run, and then he was kicked down for a second time, and then he tried to run for a second time, which in the court they actually had video proof that that was the case, that he got hit first, got knocked down by technically what any court here in the United States would be considered as a weapon.
Yeah.
A lethal weapon. That's what they would consider that. If you got hit over the head with a fucking skateboard, that is a lethal weapon.
Blunt object.
With intent to harm. As you guys know, I'm all about the law. So no, totally. That happened. Then he was kicked down for a second time, which there's pictures of the kick happening, which are not doctored pictures. That was from that. Those were there even back then. So those came to light. And then there was also other footage of him trying to leave for a second time after getting hit with the skateboard, also being kicked. And it wasn't until the two members that ended up getting shot drew their own personal weapons on him that he ended up taking those shots.
Okay, so you guys are saying he was defending himself, right?
He was defending himself
after being excuse me, real quick.
assaulted several times. Yeah.
Yes or no, Josh?
Based on the timeline that I'm reading right now, yes.
Okay, so full stop. You said he's defending himself, but you didn't believe him when he got emotional on the stand. You thought he was not acting appropriately for an emotional response.
No. His crying.
So he was defending himself. Pleading. So he was defending himself. You believe that. But when he got emotional about how he felt guilty about shooting someone in defense of himself, you thought the acting was bad?
Yes.
So he was acting for defending himself.
I mean, if
this is also something we can't emotionally or mentally comprehend, is being 18 and on trial for murder.
No, but I can relate to have people putting guns in my face.
With the entire United States, yeah, but with the entire United States watching you and hoping that you lose, do I think it was legitimate? That's
no
neither here nor there. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what kind of. I'm not really sure what kind of emotional response while having all this on the back, on the back of your neck, while also being live on television with cameras and, being tried for murder, homicides. I don't know what the appropriate emotional response would be. You know what I'm saying?
But you guys both think his emotional response was inadequate.
Every other question he was asked, he was fine about it. It was just the one where he was trying to recount events where he was just fucking broke down, quote unquote, for no reason.
And that wasn't...
And everything else he was fine.
But you guys didn't believe what he was saying because of his emotional response?
It just makes you look bad.
So you believe him, but you don't believe his emotional response to it.
Look,
I don't know, man. Go ahead.
That's my point. Is it sounds like you guys are contradicting yourself, being like, he's not a good actor, but he was in the right. And it's like, is he acting and in the wrong, or is he not acting and in the right? Because they should correlate what you guys are saying.
So let me read this really quick. This is the entire timeline. I'm not reading the entire timeline. I'm skipping forward to when the first shooting took place.
Matt, what do you agree with? Just so he can type it, because I'm curious what he agrees with.
Oh, I agree with Ghost Hand saying the whole situation was tainted by the context in itself. It is less about what legally happened and more what represents in the broader context of racial and political tensions.
Broader.
100%. 100%. And 100% agree. He's a martyr.
I agree
He's going to be the martyr.
He's a martyr for something bigger than his actions.
Yes,
absolutely.
100%, yes.
Absolutely, Ghost Hand. You're 100% right. But unfortunately, we now have to get into the nitty-gritty details of it to establish what that law moving forward should be.
So this is the timeline of the first shooting. While Mr. Rittenhouse is being pursued by the group, an unknown gunman fires into the air, though it's unclear why. The weapon's muzzle flash appears in footage filmed at the scene. Mr. Rittenhouse turns to the sound of gunfire as another pursuer lunges towards him from the same direction. Mr. Rittenhouse then fires 4 times and appears to shoot the man in the head.
So Mr. Rittenhouse fired in response.
Yes, and then
Yes.
here's a picture
which
of
something
Kyle,
big. Yeah,
the man
I was going to say
lunging.
which something
And then the
big is
gunshot.
that.
So-
is the fact that there's proof. There is proof that that's the case.
Some handgun fired a warning shot, and Rittenhouse
Well,
responded in return.
The context is unclear why the gun was fired in the first place.
But it was fired up
A gun was fired into the air.
into the air.
Yes.
That is,
Which he wouldn't know with his back turned towards the muzzle. He doesn't know
you
if
just
it's getting
hear-
shot at
you
him,
hear a gun go off.
above him.
but his
Yeah.
first response was not to question if it was shooting in the air or shooting at someone.
No,
He just returned
you
fire.
hear, you hear a gun go off.
Yes, he's in fear for his life currently. He hears a gunshot. This is the way that I portray it. He is in fear of his life. He's got people going after him. He hears a gunshot
Currently,
behind
before the
him.
first shot?
No,
Yeah, that's what they
Says-
just said. That they
No,
were.
no,
They were
the first
they were,
shot. Go ahead, read that again, Josh.
his first kill.
The first shooting.
Yes, while Mr. Rittenhouse is being pursued by a group, an unknown
Oh, he was
gunman-
being pursued. Okay.
Yes, he was being pursued. The gunshot rang out behind him, and his immediate reaction was either fight or flight.
Why was he
turned
being
and
pursued?
shot. And so that's the biggest. That's the biggest thing is that he, from what other eyewitness accounts, and I'm pretty sure it's stated. I may not be there, but in other accounts of what was going on. Wait, I lost where I was. What was I saying?
Why is he being pursued? I need to take a piss. I'll be right
why,
back.
Yeah. Why he's
Do me a
being
favor.
pursued?
Just fill me in. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, it's not in the
So-
timeline.
Yeah, so why he's being pursued is exactly what I said, was that he got cornered and he got broken off from the group, and they have said in some of the, excerpts that he was being targeted, that they had been targeting him prior to all those events happening. Yeah, I think what Ghost Hand said is correct as well. He supposedly was antagonizing the group in which they retaliated, and then when they retaliated, that's when the group began to attack Rittenhouse, shoot the warning shot or whatever, which then prompted Rittenhouse to respond and retaliate for his, from what I believe is his life.
Mm-hmm.
Because
and then after
anyone in their right mind in that same situation, I feel, would make the same decision. My life is my life is in danger, and I need to do what I can to mitigate the situation. And luckily or unluckily for him, he had a weapon in order to do that.
Yeah. And then after the first person that he shot went down, people were chasing him saying, that guy killed this dude. Hey. And then as Kyle's running, he trips and falls to the ground. He fires 4 shots as 3 people rush towards him, probably to subdue this person who just killed somebody. And then one person appears to be hit in the chest and falls to the ground by Kyle's shots. Another who is carrying a handgun is hit in the arm and runs away.
So
Yeah, that's the guy who's on trial right now as well, or is on the stand, is the defendant. Or not the defendant, as the other guy.
Yes. The one dude who survived out of the 3.
yeah, he was shot by Rittenhouse, but
shot in the
survived.
Yep. Yes. So basically, Alec, what was said was that yes, he
BRB.
Yep.
he may or may not have been antagonizing the group. The group then targeted him and got him away from everybody else. They began to rush him. That's when the next events that we just spoke about ended up ensuing.
Got it.
He was separated. They went after him. The shots rang out. He turned. He got pushed down to the ground. He let off a couple rounds. They hit 3 people. And one of them survived, and that's where we're at. He was attacked after. He was targeted after. Whether he antagonized or not, I can't say. I wasn't there. But that's how the
That's how it
events-
unfolded.
Yeah, that's how the events unfolded. He may have been antagonizing them and provoking. They retaliated once again, which
He
is
might have talked
still,
some shit. They might have responded. Got it.
They responded, and then he responded back to that after, the gunshots and everything else.
And
Which still,
good.
which I still, I was just gonna say, which I still believe is
That was fast as fuck.
he should not be he should not be tried for the homicides,
Okay.
because freedom of speech for one,
You're allowed to talk some shit. That's legal.
that's
on what you
100%
say.
legal. Yep. You're allowed, we have our rights. We're allowed to talk shit as much as we fucking want,
Yeah.
for the most part. And they got emotionally disturbed by it. They went after him and retaliated. He retaliated back, and now he's on trial for homicides.
So let me ask you, the thing in my mind right now is beyond a reasonable doubt. That word is in my mind right now. What is he on trial for? And can we prove beyond a reasonable doubt he is guilty and or innocent of it?
Murder.
He's on trial for murder.
So, the trial is murder, and he shot 2 guys, killed them, shot 1 other guy and didn't kill him.
Yeah.
And he's admitted to shooting the first 2 people.
Yeah. It's also
Yes.
on video and pictures.
So this also feels like maybe they're fighting the wrong battle, because if you're saying you're on trial for murder and you did, well, I guess not, because it's the intent.
No,
right? So they're arguing
because
the
there's
intent of
also-
the murder.
Yes, because you also got to remember Wisconsin has laws in place for self-protection, self-defense, and defense laws, just like every other state does. And so that's what's
And
being
he was
fought
trying
right
to
now.
surrender in this video. You want to throw that video up there real
Well, I
quick?
wouldn't say that he's trying to surrender. He's
I
just
remember
walking
seeing
towards
this
police with his hands up, and they just go past him.
I was told this was him trying to surrender to the police.
I mean, that's not what happened, but based on the written account of this timeline, they just disregarded him and moved forward. Because then it just talks about the time.
This is a shit show.
It certainly is, and that's why it's so important.
That's the issue. Because guess what? If he gets tried for murder here, regardless of everything else, that's going to change the federal laws for a lot of things. That's going to change your self-defense.
Is this the video
laws.
that shows
that's
it?
Well, this is just him.
that's gonna change everything. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna change everything. Because if he goes to jail or to prison for murder after being attacked, then what do we have self-defense laws for?
And that's the video of him being attacked, right?
He fell on his own. He tripped,
Well, he got hit in the back of the head by one guy. I saw
and
that.
then he kept running, and then he tripped,
yeah,
and now he's on the ground. It looks like
gets kicked, hit, skateboard right there.
yeah.
Yep.
I can't play.
Can you
this.
put that up on the screen?
I can show you picture freeze frames, but I can't really.
No, the events leading up, just not the whole, not to the firing.
Sure. So this is him.
But I want to see the firing.
Okay, well, so this is him running down the street. This
Gets
dude
hit.
looks like he throws a punch, maybe or may not connects. Keeps running and then trips.
He falls right there. He gets kicked right here. Boom.
People hit him with a skateboard,
Yeah.
and then
Yep. He fires the 3 rounds off.
this dude does have a gun.
Yes. 2 people actually had a gun.
Looks like he was about to shoot Rittenhouse.
And the guy shot in the arm went on the stand and admitted that he did point the gun in Rittenhouse's face
before Rittenhouse raised the gun.
Shot before Rittenhouse ended up shooting him in the arm.
I saw that too.
Which, beyond a reasonable suspicion of a doubt,
It's
does
self-defense.
that constitute a reasonable response by a reasonable person of self-defense? In the eyes of the law,
It's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
It's pretty reasonable.
It's just so
which is
shitty
why
because in my mind, he went out there looking for shit, got into shit, and then survived.
I mean, his initial intent was to protect a car dealership.
And he ended
And
up...
then he left, and then that's when like, why did you do this?
That's stupid... But that's the thing, is like, do the ends justify the means?
No.
Now all we have is more gun law. You fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Because it's like, look, I get it. If someone points a gun at me first and I have a gun, I'm fucking taking them out.
The thing is, okay, so literally the second fucking chunk of the timeline says that he was there to protect a car dealership,
Which is dumb.
He calls it his job, although there was no indication that he was asked to guard the site.
That's
Well, you
bullshit.
guys want to hear something?
What's up?
This is from the Wisconsin State Legislature. A person who provokes an attack, whether by lawful or unlawful conduct, with intent to use such an attack as an excuse to cause death or great bodily harm to his or her assailant, is not entitled to claim the privilege of self-defense.
So then he's immediately absolved from that. He cannot be...
No, so some people may argue that he was guilty because of the fact that he provoked it by antagonizing them, except...
He provoked it by showing up.
Except, well, not necessarily, because
he had no right to be there.
There were but there was a bunch of other people there who also had their weapons. Did
And
they
it wasn't
have
his job to defend
no
it.
right to be there?
It's counter-protest.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
No one had
Yeah.
no one had the right to be there, and then he showed up to defend it, and
The whole
they
thing,
didn't have the right to. They didn't have the right to antagonize. He didn't have the right to defend.
Actually, everybody had
has
the
a
right to be there.
It started as a protest because of police killing an unarmed black man.
But he was there to defend with a weapon outside of his state, outside of the laws he's used to.
Yeah, people come out of state to go to protest sites
exactly.
anyway.
But
Not with loaded guns.
You don't know that? Some
I
people
do know that.
People do it
The
all the
Women's
time.
March in 2020, not a single one had loaded guns. They all took
You
their
don't
shirts
know
off.
that.
I know that.
I don't think everybody took their shirt off.
Everyone, titties all across the street.
Of course you would pay
Titties,
attention
bro.
to titties.
Yes, I pay attention to titties.
Bigger picture.
Bigger picture? What's bigger than 100,000 titties marching down the street?
I didn't hear about that in the Women's March.
that's a great picture.
That's a great picture. We can all agree that is a march we show up to defend.
No.
I feel like I know where you're coming from, Alec, and I think this spawns back to the fact that he did everything wrong leading up, but the basis on which he sits.
Yeah, but once he found himself in the situation with a gun in his face, first,
Exactly.
it is
Exactly.
justified to defend yourself.
Yes. But he is not absolved from all the other laws
Correct.
that he did break in order to be in that situation. But that doesn't mean that the law of self-defense after
Is null and void.
is not in effect, especially in a state that has that legislature in place in order to protect its citizens, whether they are a citizen of the state or not.
So he was defending himself,
Yes.
but he's still guilty of all the laws he broke prior to the self-defense.
100%.
And now you can call him a white
Which
supremacist.
which congregating in the area that he did, and which that's not illegal. Open carrying in that state is not illegal. Having rounds in the chamber is not illegal. None of that stuff's illegal. What is illegal is what he did to be there.
To cross the border with
To cross the border with a gun that he was. Yeah. Well, it was a registered gun, but it wasn't
not
registered
to
to him, if I remember correctly. And he wasn't.
gotcha.
He's
He
17.
wasn't permitted. Yeah, he wasn't
Gotcha,
permitted
yeah.
to have that gun yet.
Gotcha.
He was
Because
also,
if he did hold a lawful permit for that gun, you can cross state lines with guns. That's not illegal.
As long as
it's
it's
got to be
registered to-
It's gotta be
it's got to be
yours.
it's got to be transported in a certain way. But once he gets to where he's going, if they have like I said, the open carry and everything else, that's all legal. But you have to be permitted to that gun. You have to be of legal age. And that's where all that other shit that I'm talking about spawns.
he was also seen in bars talking about the incident and throwing up the quote unquote white power sign. And it's
Doesn't matter.
all smiles after the fact.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not pertinent to the case.
Well, but
Yep.
it's why
Although it is an influencer.
it's why
it is an
I would
influencer.
think that his performance is terrible. Because if you
Understandable.
can talk about it in one scenario and be perfectly fine,
Understandable. I get that. But that's the thing is like, I understand also like you have to be able to be like disregard the fact that he's
the bias.
yeah, you have to be like that doesn't matter. And that's the shitty thing is like, do I support white supremacists? Fuck no. But
Okay.
but if someone throws up a white power sign, you got to be like, fuck, like you have the right to do it, but like why'd you do it? Like
The difference between okay and white power.
that's what I'm saying. Like it's just one of those really annoying things where it's like you fucker, dude. Because now
these are the laws.
Because now it's one of those
Yes.
things. It's like, do I want to defend a white supremacist? No. Do I want to defend the rights of every citizen to follow this case that is a precedent-setting case? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And unfortunately, you have to separate yourself from being like, no, I do not support white supremacists, but this white supremacist, if that was his motivation or his cause or his affiliation, he was still in the right at that time. If that's the court ruling.
It's a big mucky web.
Yes. Also, Wisconsin also has a defensive property and protection against retail theft. And I don't think a person is privileged to defend a third person's property from real or apparent unlawful interference by another under the same conditions and by the same means as those under blah 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 blah.
And that's what I'm
Privileged to
saying
defend
is
his
like,
yeah.
it'd be one
so-
thing if his
so, yes, they
parents
were-
and he worked there,
That's what he was doing.
but he
no,
didn't.
no, it doesn't. No, third party doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if he works there or not. That's what he was doing.
Yep, exactly.
Wait, back it up.
Third party can defend
Defend
other.
a third
Can?
person's
Yes.
property. Yes, a person is privileged to defend a third person's property from real or apparent unlawful interference by another under the same conditions of
That's
blah
weird.
blah blah.
That's stupid.
That's
and
a weird.
privilege
That's
and
a
blah, blah,
weird
blah.
law. That's a weird
Hey,
law.
Listen, if I
Look,
have my
I would
entire life
appreciate
savings
it.
in my storefront,
I would
and people
appreciate
want to come
you're a
here
dumbass
and-
if you
and-
have your entire life savings in your storefront. Sorry.
But I'm saying
gonna
if
throw
people
that
want to
out right
protect
now.
my store, I'm gonna let them.
No, and that's what I'm saying is if I owned a diner somewhere where that was the law and someone decided to say this is our neighborhood, we'll defend it, I would appreciate it.
Yes, that's what was happening.
And
that's exactly what
that's
the
where
premise
it gets
was.
weird because like that was my one idea being like I don't think I was saying he wasn't obligated, but the truth of the matter was he wasn't obligated, but he was allowed to.
Within his right. He was
100%
within
the
his
right to defend it.
To protect against unlawful actions and blah, blah, blah. And when you look at all the other riots where they were destroying
Property,
the town and
it's
these
safe to
people's
assume
property.
that
yes,
was the outcome. Fuck.
Yes.
Man,
Yeah.
that's annoying.
That's the legislature. That is how it's written in black and white. And that's due to other cases such as in apparently where this came from was 1979, and that's when this law came into place in order to allow people to protect other people's property from unlawful blah blah blah.
Which makes it a mucky web.
It's a mucky fuck, bro.
All right, boys.
This
that's
is
it
one
for me
mucky
tonight.
fuck.
Yeah, that's it for me tonight. I
Thank
gotta
you so much,
go
Plant.
Shower.
Alrighty, Mr. Plant. You have a good
All
rest
right,
of
guys.
your evening.
You guys have a good rest of your stream. I'm glad I was able to chime in on a couple
Thank
things.
you.
I think it was
Very,
I think it was a good conversation.
yeah. Good dialogue.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night, chat.
And Ghost Hands, I'm super interested in talking more about. I didn't want to talk about this the whole time, to be honest, but here we are. And Ghost Hands says the whole FBI overheard footage should have piqued some ears. The FBI has some scary surveillance in places, and nobody is talking about it. If you want to expand on that for me, man, I would love to hear, or maybe a link.
I mean, I'm sure some of that's probably like confidential. They can't release that information because, like,
Sure, but wouldn't it be so interesting to find out the FBI was
well, then they expose
provocative in
themselves,
this?
and it's a whole other thing.
I know, but that's the thing is like, Ghost Hand's right. That should be talked about. If there are people, if there are bad actors in this, and then Alex Jones gets written up for the fucking, what was it? Sandy Hook?
That's way different.
Okay, but I mean, still, like, bad actors aside, you have American officials provoking this event.
He's not saying that the event was provoked.
There's footage by the FBI.
Overhead footage. That's just saying that the FBI is
security cameras. Never mind.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying there's a van. Like,
no.
I'm rolling.
That's just them watching everything, which they probably
do anyway.
And, I mean, we don't know, but there's a hunch going around that the FBI does. Yes, he is 100% guilty on legal possession of the gun, but that apparently was thrown out.
The last one was, it doesn't matter how legal it was, represents to a lot of people an act of white supremacy against protesters fighting against police brutality and minorities targeting. That's a good point. But that's a good point, but it's also the dilemma, right? Because it does matter how legal it was. Because unfortunately, those laws are in place. And that's what I'm saying. I don't want to defend a white supremacist. I don't want to do it. But if the white supremacist isn't the right, then in America, you have no choice but to follow the letter of the law because that's what's written.
And you just get them on the other shit.
And then you have to get them on tax fraud, like OJ. Like, it's shitty. It is shitty. Nobody wants to defend someone who they think or know is guilty. But at the end of the day, if you don't, this is what I was saying, you have to give the rapists a fair trial, the murderers a fair trial. Because the second you don't, then the people who are innocent don't deserve one either. As soon as you give someone who you think is guilty an unfair trial, then everyone who you think is innocent also gets an unfair trial. It has to be given. It's the principle of the matter.
Yeah, and even if Kyle is if it's ruled guilty or not guilty, there's going to be a riot over it.
There will be riots.
There will be protest over whichever the outcome is.
We had a drunk driver kill, I think, 2 or 3 people, and he's like 20 or 21, like just barely legal age. Crashed his car doing 150 into a family of 3 or something tragic. And people posted online that they think he's handsome and deserves a second chance. And that is just where the legal system is at. And granted, the legal system should pay no attention to that, but there will always be someone with an opposing opinion being like, yeah, he did this horrible thing, but I think he's cute. And that's fucking terrible. That should not be a deciding factor in the court of law by any means. But that's what I'm saying is, like, he's given the fair trial and not just letting people be like, oh, he's cute, give him a second chance. The fact that he's given the fair trial is what's flushing out the voice of those maniacs who are like, oh, I think he's cute, give him a second chance. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I know it sounds fucked up. We know he did it. There's evidence that he did it. But now we need to discuss the evidence and talk about the evidence so we can get him put away legally. That way the people on Twitter and the internet, that way the mob mentality doesn't just be like, we should free this guy who did this horrible thing. Because that would be unfair to the families and people who've lost their lives. And that's just the truth. We need to keep it fair for people who are alive, for people who have passed away, and we need to do our best to keep the system balanced every day. And every day it's going to be work, but every day we'll get a little better at it. We hope.
So Ghost Hand brings up the halo effect, which is something that is referred to as physical attractiveness stereotype, and the what is beautiful is also good principle. Mm-hmm. Which is the physical appearance is often a major part of the halo effect. People who are considered attractive tend to be rated higher on their positive traits as well. However, this effect doesn't just affect our perception of people based on their attractiveness. It can also encompass other traits as well, People who are sociable or kind, for example, may also be seen as more likable and intelligent. The halo effect makes it so that perceptions of one quality lead to biased judgment of other qualities.
And that's why there's girls who are in a relationship they can't get out of because they hate the guy and he's abusive.
Like this guy.
But he's super handsome.
The hot felon.
Yeah.
Who got a modeling deal after his mugshot went viral.
Who everyone
Jeremy Meeks.
Everyone thinks he's handsome. And because he is,
he got a modeling deal out of it.
He got a modeling deal. And that's it. And that's all there is to it.
He's a convicted felon. What he did? I don't know. I don't care. Here's him in jail. Or at least in court.
But because enough people thought he was attractive, he got paid money. He got paid literally money for being attractive.
And he's with this lady, Chloe Green, whoever that is.
It's insane to me. But yeah, I know several people who are in relationships they don't want to be in anymore, but they're still with that person because the other person is very attractive. Even though that person is a terrible person, they're like,
I think that's also just gaslighting.
Sure, but at the end of the day, it's half and half, right? Like they have to gaslight one person, and the other person has to be like, okay.
Yeah, there's probably
it's bullshit.
There's probably other things that go into that.
Yeah, I hope it's like really good sex, but Ghost Hand, thanks for kicking it with us for so long, man.
Have a good week.
Always
sir.
appreciate you. See you next week. But yeah, man, that's just one of those things where it's like that's where people fall short in my mind. To where people are like, I want to leave this relationship, but they're really attractive.
So let's say you're dating like a 15 out of 10, right? Smoking hot supermodel, Victoria's Secret model, and she beats the shit out of you. Do you stay with her?
Abuse, like
she beats the shit out of you.
Stronger than me, or I just don't fight back?
Both, because she's too pretty, you can't damage her. She makes all the money. She's the breadwinner.
I leave. I leave the second she hits me.
You're a bitch.
Fuck you too. You stay with her?
Ride it out, baby.
Why? Why?
Because she makes all the money, dude.
So you want to be a fucking...
I'll be the bitch, yeah.
I wasn't going to say that.
That's an example of the halo effect, dude. I'm susceptible.
That's just being subservient, not the halo effect.
Stay with her because she's a 15 out of 10. Runway model.
Fuck that, bro.
Perfect.
Look, women don't stay with Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk.
Yeah, they also look gross and are weird. Have you heard Jeff Bezos laugh?
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's just as bad as the Zuck.
It's terrible. Damn.
There's a whole compilation on YouTube about it.
Face ever. At least throw the face on there
you
for a
second. You want to be a chef. Maybe you want to be a dancer. I don't know what you want to do.
I'm not sure my boss is going to like that. Last two.
He laughs like a weirdo. He's a weirdo.
It just sounds fake.
No, let's look at the Zuck. And he's always talking about Sweet Baby Ray's.
Yeah, he is.
There's a good chance that most of your users are already on Facebook, and for the ones who aren't, they probably will be soon.
No, it's... Well...
Now, who should we tickle
This is
next?
Mono.
I think we should tickle Max.
The fuck?
I'm also experimenting with other voices.
He's just such a fucking... He's a robot.
What's your next thing you're gonna do? Get bought? No. No.
He's a robot. That's weird. Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, he's probably the most normal out of all of them.
I fucking disagree, dude. What do you name his son? X-A12?
X-A12, yeah.
Fuck you, he's normal.
Johnny Depp. Does Johnny Depp laugh weird?
Stretch marks. Yes.
He looks like a fucking serial killer.
10 decades.
Yes.
Can you roll the IV in for me, please?
Oh, with Amber. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Amber Heard is super hot, and I'll stand by her 100%.
And that's the thing. Josh stands by Amber Heard. I'm with Johnny Depp. Fuck that bitch. She admitted to hitting him first.
I don't like
Case closed.
I don't like his movies. I like hers a
Case
lot better.
closed. She hit him first. That's the problem. You can't just be like, oh, you pretty.
Sure, I can.
That's fucking wrong. That's wrong.
Who are you to tell me my personal choice in relationships is wrong?
I'm the one telling you.
There is no right or wrong.
That's common. Yes, there is.
Who I choose to date doesn't matter.
If Amber Heard was like, hey, eat my pussy, and then just starts punching you in the face, and she's like, I thought this is what eating pussy was, you'd be like, okay.
Yes.
And then you'd go and tell all your friends. You'd tell me, Alec, I ate Amber Heard's pussy.
Yes.
Just bleeding from the nose, black eyes, everything.
I like her movies.
That's bullshit. That's fucking wrong.
You guys can hate me for all you want.
I do, because she's abusive.
I like Amber more.
She admitted to it.
She's in Remember the Days. That's my favorite movie of all time.
She admitted to abusing
She's the main
a
actress
person.
in my number one movie.
And you were like,
of all
yeah,
time.
that's
Yes.
chill.
Yes. Yes. Give the power to the ladies.
That's not power. That's abuse.
She's paving the way.
That's abuse of power.
She's paving the way. I'm with her.
Yeah, that's not right. That's not right, man. I'm sorry. I can't stand by you on that.
That's fine. You don't have to.
Right.
I'm not asking you to.
I'm just making it public.
Voicing my opinions. I'm with her. Pretty sure that hashtag was about Hillary.
Josh is like, I'm an ally. I support Amber Heard. Everyone's like, oh no, we don't. Everyone on Twitter says that's a bad idea, and Josh is like, I don't care. I'm an ally.
We don't want you, and we don't need you. See, that's my plan, right? I don't want to be called on by anybody.
That's your plan?
Yes.
And you're like, Amber Heard, I got your back. Call on me anytime. I will lick your pussy, bitch.
Yes, because I'm not falling underneath the radical left by like...
No, you're falling under the fucking insane and unhinged, bro. You're fucked up in the head.
And that's the goal. I don't identify with one group, and they're not going to call on me
You
for
identify
like
with
support.
every group because that's how your brain works.
Yes. I'm a little bit of everything.
Can I interest you in everything all of the time?
True neutral.
A little bit of everything all of the time.
Some people call me chaotic neutral. I like to think I'm true neutral.
Apathy's a tragedy and boredom is a crime.
I don't agree with that.
Anything and everything all of the time.
Yes. I am true neutral, though. True.
You are not true neutral.
True / chaotic neutral.
You are not true neutral if you're taking sides with an abusive person.
I think I'm true neutral. I think it.
You can think whatever you want. You want. People think the Earth is flat. That doesn't make them right.
I think it cross cancels and
it does not. Your opinion
multiplies.
Your
to
opinion
zero.
is not a fucking algebraic equation. You asshat.
Can be. Just replace the variables with the words.
No. If X minus Amber Heard equals Johnny Depp with a black eye, then the X must be Johnny Depp because Amber Heard deserves better. Fuck Johnny Depp. He's a shitty ex-boyfriend. Amber Heard is the solution.
Thank you for
That's
agreeing.
your math? That's how your math works?
I just like her because she's pretty. And I like Remember the Days. Sorry, man. That's my justification. She got fired from the second Aquaman movie. Everyone was happy about that.
People like you are the reason R. Kelly got away with what he did for so long.
Yeah, but he went in jail for it. I don't support that. That's different.
You don't support molestation and rape for underage people, but you support
these hands are
spousal abuse.
These hands are rated E for everybody, okay? There, I said it. Equal rights, equal fights.
You realize there's like 1 million people in the world who could kick your ass with a different opinion.
That's fine.
You're only saying that because you're not getting your ass kicked actively right now.
That's the beauty about opinions, is that it doesn't matter.
It should, though.
Why? Why does your opinion matter?
Because when your opinion starts going, yeah, I hate Jews and Hitler was right, that's a problem.
As long
and
as
your opinion goes, yeah, fuck Johnny Depp. He could be hurt because he's not as attractive as Amber Heard.
It only matters if you act on it.
And she acted on it, bro. She beat the shit out of him.
I'm not acting on it. That's
but you're
different.
supporting it.
So
you're encouraging it. You're saying
she could do it again if she wants.
That's my point. You're saying Amber Heard, fuck Johnny Depp. You can go beat Chris Hemsworth's ass, and I would still love you. Oh, Chris Hemsworth is a pussy and doesn't like when you hit him.
I think you'd fight
unconsensually. Not the point. Chris Hemsworth is a little bitch. All right, go to fucking whoever else and beat their ass. And if they don't like it, they're bitches and pussies, and you're not the problem. They are.
Yes. Precisely.
But you don't believe in astrology because she's like, I'm a Cancer, I can't help it. Pah, pah, pah.
My mom's a Cancer and she doesn't hit people.
The point being,
you're wrong in your astrological placement.
The point being,
when is her birthday? What is her
you
sign?
cannot justify this. I don't know how you've managed to justify this by saying
She's
like
a Taurus.
her. The worst kind of person, based on everyone you know is a Taurus, is a piece of shit.
I only know one Taurus.
And she's a piece of human fucking garbage.
That's not fair.
And we don't talk to her anymore because she's a cunt.
That's not fair.
And you're saying...
That's not fair. Mistrial.
We're ending the show.
Hope you guys enjoyed this show.
They didn't. I didn't until the last 10 minutes. I want to go drink with Brian.
You're welcome.
Let's go.
Yeah, we'll be back next week, next Monday. Same time, same place.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Goodbye.